The rain-soaked streets of Seattle gleamed under the streetlights. But inside the penthouse, a different storm was brewing. Benjamin Carter stood frozen, his heart pounding as he stared at the silhouette in his bedroom doorway, draped in his late wife's silk robe. The figure wasn't her. She'd been gone for 2 years, but the shape, the scent, the way the fabric clung to the body felt like a ghost had slipped into his life. Benjamin was 38, a man whose rugged good looks, sharp jawline, piercing green eyes, and a frame honed by years of discipline made him a standout in the corporate world. He'd built a tech empire in Seattle, a city that thrummed with innovation and secrets. His life was polished, controlled, except for one unraveling thread, his stepson, Noah, who just turned 22. Noah had been 16 when Benjamin married his mother, Claire, a radiant woman whose warmth had softened the edges of their fractured family. Her death in a car accident had left them both adrift, bound by grief and an unspoken tension that grew with each passing day. Tonight, that tension snapped. Noah stepped into the dim light, his blonde hair catching the glow of the bedside lamp. He was beautiful, almost too beautiful, with high cheekbones and eyes that held a storm of emotions. The robe, Claire's favorite, hung loosely on his slender frame, but it was his gaze that pinned Benjamin in place, bold, vulnerable, and unmistakably deliberate. "Ben," Noah whispered, his voice trembling yet resolute. "I know this is wrong, but I can't keep pretending I don't feel it." Benjamin's throat tightened. He should have stopped it right there, should have sent Noah back to his room, but the air crackled with something he couldn't name. Instead, he stepped closer, his voice low. "What are you doing, Noah? This isn't you." But it was. Noah had always been a spark in their home, charismatic, defiant, and fiercely intelligent. He'd grown up under Benjamin's roof, a teenager who'd challenged him, teased him, and, somewhere along the line, started looking at him in a way that wasn't filial. Benjamin had ignored it, buried it under work and whiskey, but tonight, with Noah standing there in Claire's robe, the truth was undeniable. "I'm not her," Noah said, stepping closer, the robe slipping slightly to reveal a smooth collarbone. "But I know you see me. You've always seen me." The words hit like a punch. Benjamin's mind raced, memories of late-night talks, stolen glances, the way Noah's laugh could pull him out of his darkest moods. He'd told himself it was just grief, just loneliness. But now, with Noah's breath warm against his skin, he wasn't sure. Was this betrayal or something else entirely? The city outside hummed, oblivious to the line they were about to cross. Benjamin's hand hovered near Noah's cheek, trembling with restraint. "We can't," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. Noah's eyes softened, a mix of defiance and longing. "Then tell me to leave. Tell me you don't want this." Silence stretched between them, heavy with possibility. Benjamin's heart screamed to push Noah away, to preserve the fragile boundaries of their family. But his body, traitor that it was, leaned in, and when their lips met, it was like the world tilted off its axis. The kiss was tentative at first, then desperate, a collision of guilt and desire. Noah's hands gripped Benjamin's shirt, pulling him closer, and for a moment, nothing else existed, no past, no consequences, just the heat of their shared breath. When they pulled apart, gasping, Benjamin's mind was a battlefield. This was wrong. Noah was his stepson, Claire's son. But the way Noah looked at him, raw and unguarded, made it feel like the only truth that mattered. "We can't tell anyone," Benjamin said finally, his voice hoarse. "Not ever," Noah nodded, his expression a mix of triumph and fear. "I know. It's our secret." That night, they didn't speak of Claire, but her presence lingered in the robe, in the room, in the weight of what they'd done. Benjamin lay awake. Noah curled against him, wondering how they'd survive this. The world outside their penthouse was unforgiving, Seattle's elite circles, Benjamin's boardroom, Noah's college friends. One slip, and everything they'd built could crumble. The next morning, Noah was gone from the bed, but the robe lay folded on a chair, a silent reminder. Benjamin dressed for work, his mind churning. He was a man who thrived on control, yet he just surrendered it to a 22-year-old who held his heart in a vice. As he stepped into the elevator, his phone buzzed with a text from Noah. "I meant every second of it. Don't regret me." Benjamin's grip tightened on the phone. Regret? He didn't know if he regretted it or if he was terrified of how much he didn't. All he knew was that their secret was a ticking bomb, and time was already running out. The Seattle skyline glittered through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Benjamin's office, but his focus was elsewhere. Noah's text burned in his mind, a constant pull between guilt and a hunger he couldn't shake. He was supposed to be reviewing quarterly reports, but all he could see was Noah's face last night, those defiant eyes, that reckless courage. At home, the tension was palpable. Noah had taken to lingering in the kitchen when Benjamin returned from work. His casual touches, a hand brushing Benjamin's arm, a smile that lingered too long, loaded with intent. Benjamin tried to keep distance, burying himself in emails, but Noah was relentless. One evening, as Benjamin poured a glass of bourbon, Noah appeared, wearing a fitted black t-shirt that hugged his lean frame, his blonde hair still damp from a shower. "We need to talk," Noah said, his voice steady but laced with urgency. He stepped closer, the air between them electric. "You're avoiding me." Benjamin set the glass down, his jaw tight. "I'm trying to protect us. You know what's at stake." Noah's laugh was sharp, almost bitter. "Protect us? Or protect your reputation? I'm not some kid you can just dismiss. Ben, I know what I want." "And what's that?" Benjamin snapped, his control fraying. "To destroy everything we have left? You think this," he gestured between them, "won't tear us apart?" Noah's eyes flashed with hurt, but he didn't back down. "I think you're scared. Not of the world, but of yourself. You felt it too, that night. Don't lie to me." Benjamin wanted to argue, to shut this down, but Noah's words cut too deep. He had felt it, the spark, the pull, the way Noah's presence filled the hollow spaces Claire's death had left. But admitting it meant unraveling the life he'd built, the one where he was the widower, the CEO, the man who had it all together. Before he could respond, Noah closed the distance, his hand resting on Benjamin's chest. "I'm not asking for forever," Noah whispered. "Just for now. Just for us." The bourbon glass sat forgotten as Benjamin's resolve crumbled. They kissed again, this time in the kitchen, the city lights casting shadows across their entwined figures. It was reckless, dangerous, but it felt like the only thing keeping Benjamin alive. Days turned into weeks. and their secret grew heavier. They stole moments, late nights on the rooftop terrace, quiet mornings before the world woke up. Noah was a master at blending into their old roles in public. The charming stepson who made Benjamin laugh at family dinners. But behind closed doors, he was something else entirely, a lover, a confidant, a challenge Benjamin couldn't resist. Yet the cracks were forming. At a company gala, Benjamin's CFO, Rachel, a sharp-eyed woman who missed nothing, noticed Noah's lingering glances. "He's grown up fast," she said, her tone probing. "You two seem close." Benjamin forced a smile, his heart racing. "He's family." "You know how it is." Rachel's eyes narrowed, but she let it drop. Benjamin knew better than to think she was convinced. Seattle's elite were a tight-knit group, and gossip was their currency. If anyone suspected the truth, it wouldn't just be a scandal, it would be ruin. Noah, meanwhile, was struggling with his own battles. At college, his friends noticed his distraction, his late-night disappearances. His best friend, Liam, a wiry artist with a knack for asking too many questions, cornered him one day. "What's going on with you? Noah, you're different." "Is it your stepdad?" Noah laughed it off, but his stomach churned. Liam was too perceptive, and Noah wasn't sure how long he could keep lying. He loved Benjamin, not just as a lover, but as the man who'd been his anchor since his mother's death. But love, he was learning, came with a price. That night, Noah slipped into Benjamin's room again, this time without the robe. Just himself, raw, unguarded, beautiful. "I don't care what they think," he said, his voice fierce. "I just want you." Benjamin pulled him close, but fear gnawed at him. Their secret was a house of cards, and one wrong move could bring it all down. The autumn rain battered Seattle, mirroring the storm in Benjamin's chest. He and Noah had settled into a fragile rhythm, their stolen moments a lifeline in a world that felt increasingly hostile. But the weight of their secret was starting to show. Benjamin's late nights at the office grew longer, and Noah's grades slipped as he wrestled with the lies he told his friends. One evening, Benjamin came home to find Noah pacing the living room, his phone clutched tightly. "Liam knows something," Noah said, his voice tight. "He saw us at the coffee shop last week. The way you looked at me, he's not stupid." Benjamin's stomach dropped. The coffee shop had been a rare moment of carelessness, a shared laugh, a touch that lingered too long. "What did you tell him?" he asked, his voice low. "Nothing," Noah said, running a hand through his hair. "But he's asking questions. I can't keep dodging them." Benjamin sank onto the couch, his mind racing. Liam wasn't the only threat. Rachel had been digging, her casual comments at work laced with suspicion. And then there was Claire's sister, Emily, who'd started dropping by unannounced, her eyes sharp as she watched Noah and Benjamin interact. The walls were closing in, and Benjamin felt the pressure like a vice. "We need to be more careful," he said, but even as the words left his mouth, he knew they weren't enough. Careful wasn't enough when every glance, every touch, was a risk. Noah knelt in front of him, his hands on Benjamin's knees. "Or we could stop hiding," he said, his voice trembling with conviction. "We could leave Seattle, start over somewhere new. Just us." The idea was intoxicating. Freedom, a life where they could be together without fear. but it was also impossible. Benjamin's company, his legacy, was here. Noah's future, his degree, his dreams, was here. Running away meant abandoning everything they'd built, everything Claire had loved. "I can't," Benjamin said, his voice breaking. "And you know why." Noah's face fell, but he nodded. "I know. But I hate this. I hate pretending I'm just your stepson when you're everything to me." The words hit Benjamin like a wave, pulling him under. He wanted to promise Noah the world, to tell him they'd find a way. But the truth was colder. Their love was a secret that could destroy them both. The next day, disaster struck. Emily showed up at the penthouse with a photo, a grainy image from a security camera at a downtown bar, showing Benjamin and Noah in a corner, their hands brushing, their faces too close. "What the hell is this?" she demanded, her voice shaking with anger. Benjamin's heart stopped. "It's nothing," he lied, but his voice was weak. "Nothing," Emily snapped. "You're my sister's husband, Ben, and Noah's her son. This," she waved the photo, "this is sick." Noah stepped forward, his face pale but defiant. "It's not sick. It's real. I love him." "Emily." The room went silent, the weight of Noah's confession hanging heavy. Emily's eyes widened, then narrowed. "You're both disgusting," she spat. "I'm telling everyone. The board, the press, everyone." She stormed out, leaving Benjamin and Noah staring at each other, the photo still clutched in Benjamin's hand. The secret was out, and there was no going back. The fallout was swift and brutal. By morning, Emily had made good on her threat. Whispers spread through Benjamin's company, fueled by a leaked email from an anonymous source, likely Emily, containing the photo and a scathing accusation. The board called an emergency meeting, and Benjamin, usually unshakable, felt the ground crumbling beneath him. In the penthouse, Noah was a wreck. "This is my fault," he said, his voice raw. "I pushed you into this. I should have stayed away." Benjamin grabbed his shoulders, forcing him to meet his gaze. "Don't you dare take this on yourself. I chose this. I chose you." But the words felt hollow against the reality crashing down. Social media was ablaze with rumors, and Benjamin's phone buzzed with messages from colleagues, friends, even distant relatives. The headlines were merciless. Tech Mogul's scandalous affair with Stepson. Noah's college friends had turned on him, Liam included, their texts a mix of shock and disgust. "We need to leave," Noah said, his eyes red from crying. "We can't stay here." Benjamin wanted to agree, to pack a bag and disappear, but his company was on the brink of a major deal, one that could secure its future or doom it if he abandoned ship. And Noah, despite his bravado, was still a kid in so many ways. His life barely begun. Running meant giving up everything, but staying meant facing a world that would tear them apart. The board meeting was a bloodbath. Rachel, her face a mask of professionalism, presented the allegations with cold precision. "The shareholders are spooked," she said. "We need a statement. Ben. And we need it now." Benjamin stood, his voice steady despite the chaos in his chest. "I'll address this. But I need time." Time was the one thing he didn't have. That night, he and Noah sat on the rooftop terrace, the city sprawling below them. Noah's hand found his, their fingers lacing together. I don't regret it, Noah said softly. Even if it all falls apart. I don't regret loving you. Benjamin's throat tightened. He wanted to say he didn't either, but the weight of their choices was crushing him. He'd lost Claire, and now he risked losing everything else, his career, his reputation. Noah. The next day, a reporter cornered Noah outside his college campus, shoving a microphone in his face. Is it true? Are you and your stepfather involved? Noah froze, his heart pounding. He wanted to scream the truth, to tell the world he loved Benjamin, but the words caught in his throat. Instead, he pushed past the reporter, his silence louder than any confession. Back at the penthouse, Benjamin watched the news clip, his chest aching. Noah deserved better than this, a life free from judgment, from shame. But could Benjamin give him that? Or was their love doomed to be a fleeting, beautiful mistake? The scandal consumed Seattle. Benjamin's company's stock plummeted, and the board demanded his resignation. He fought back, leveraging every ounce of his influence, but the damage was done. At home, Noah withdrew, his once vibrant energy dulled by the relentless scrutiny. They barely touched now, the fear of being caught paralyzing them. One night, Benjamin found Noah on the rooftop, staring at the city. I'm sorry, Noah said, his voice barely audible. I thought we could handle this. Benjamin pulled him into his arms, the first real touch in days. We will, he said, though he wasn't sure he believed it. We'll find a way. But the way forward was unclear. Emily had gone public, giving interviews that painted Benjamin as a predator, Noah as a victim. The narrative was suffocating, stripping away the truth of their love. Benjamin hired a lawyer, a sharp woman named Carla, who specialized in high-profile scandals. You need to control the story, she said. Come out with the truth on your terms, or they'll destroy you. Noah was against it. If we go public, they'll never leave us alone, he argued. I just want to disappear with you. Benjamin was torn. Going public meant exposing their love to a world that might never understand. But staying silent meant letting others define them. He spent sleepless nights weighing the options, haunted by the memory of Noah in that silk robe, the moment that had changed everything. Then, a glimmer of hope. Liam, Noah's friend, reached out, his voice hesitant over the phone. I was wrong to judge you, he said. I saw how you looked at him. Noah. It's real. I want to help. Liam's support was a lifeline. He connected Noah with a local LGBTQ plus advocacy group, who offered to help them craft a statement. For the first time, Benjamin felt a spark of possibility. Maybe they could fight for their truth, not just for themselves, but for others who'd been forced to hide. They spent days working with the group, drafting a letter that laid bare their story, not the scandal, but the love, the grief, the humanity. It was raw, honest, and terrifying. When they posted it online, signed by both of them, the response was overwhelming. Hate poured in, but so did support. Messages from strangers who'd faced similar struggles, who saw their courage and found their own. The tide was turning, but the cost was still high. Benjamin stepped down as CEO, passing the reins to Rachel, who, to his surprise, stood by him. You're an idiot, she said, but you're not a monster. Fix this. Noah, meanwhile, found strength in the advocacy group, his voice growing steadier as he spoke at small gatherings. He was no longer just Benjamin's stepson. He was a man fighting for his right to love. 6 months later, the storm had quieted, but the scars remained. Benjamin and Noah had left Seattle, settling in a small coastal town in Oregon where the air smelled of salt and second chances. They lived in a modest house by the sea, far from the penthouse's sterile luxury. Benjamin took a consulting job, his days quieter but fuller. Noah enrolled in a local college, his passion for art reignited. Their love, once a secret that nearly destroyed them, was now an open truth. They held hands in public, shared quiet dinners, built a life that was theirs. The world hadn't fully accepted them, some never would, but they'd found a community that did. Liam visited often, his friendship a bridge to the past they hadn't lost. One evening, as they walked along the beach, Noah stopped, his eyes on the horizon. "Do you ever regret it?" he asked, his voice soft. "Choosing me." Benjamin pulled him close, the wind tousling their hair. "Never," he said. "You're my home, Noah. You always will be." They stood there, the waves crashing around them, their love a quiet rebellion against a world that had tried to break them. The secret that had once threatened to destroy them had become their strength, a testament to the power of truth, no matter how hard won. Their story wasn't perfect. There were still whispers, still judgments, still nights when Benjamin woke wondering if he'd done right by Noah. But then he'd seen Noah's smile, hear his laugh, feel his hand in his, and he'd know this was worth it. Love, in all its messy, beautiful forms, was always worth it. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Benjamin and Noah walked back to their house, their steps in sync. They'd face the fire and come out stronger, not just for themselves, but for everyone who'd ever had to hide who they loved. Their story was a beacon, a reminder that even in the darkest nights, love could light the way.